Okay, guys, what's up? It's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. Okay, man. So off the bat, we're getting started about 5:38. I'm seeing this big bear leg, some congestion up in here. What we're looking for is going to be a second entry short. If we have this move, see this new low. We've tried to go lower once, so let's see if we keep pulling back and get a good signal bar that we can enter on. Back on this bar right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We had a two-legged pullback, leg, stall, push, breakout, EMA touch, good signal bar. That's exactly where I went short. Um, Stop order, was able to get out on my scalp right there. And then I tried to swing for the lows, and we got close. But when we got this big reversal bar, it stopped me out one tick before my break even. So a little bit more to be gained there, but I think the only way I could have got more money out of that contract was to have my stop somewhere above these double tops here or here. And I wasn't really ready to risk like a loss or give up some profit. So I was cool with what I got. I'm going to look for the next entry when it comes. So there, now we're getting kind of a couple moves off this EMA. So I'm going to start considering that we have a spiking channel going on. I'd have it go something off there. And we could just bring it to the lows for visual sake. And that would be somewhere down there. And then see you get the, this is a failed second entry off this high, first entry. So if you saw this in time, you can go short there. It just depends on if you saw that in time. It's big bar, I wouldn't go short at the low of this bar. It'd have to be on a limit here or stop right there. Pulls back a couple times. Now you're getting congestion. So you need to wait for breakouts and reversals or breakout lows and pullbacks. So let's just wait to see what happens. And we're getting turned down right off this trend line. You know, maybe if you wanted to adjust it a little bit, you can make it a little better off there. I would say that's good. And the other channel could be like right there. So off this double top, this becomes one high. This is the higher low. We're still going to wait for another entry. And this one right here is that failed second entry. A little aggressive. Um, Kind of close to the lows, but nonetheless, I like that trade. That one does pretty well. So you can see that our channel is holding pretty good. So we just need to wait and see what happens. Two-legged pullback to the EMA. See this? First leg, stall bar, second leg. It's a good sign. This breaks these highs. So it's just a first entry to the lows, first entry off the top. So we need to wait for a second entry before we go short. And don't really get anything there that is significant enough to me at least. Um, but now that we've pushed above the EMA and we're making a higher low, I'm going to consider a long if we get the reversal pattern. That comes right there. So this is where I took my second trade of the day. I'm going to explain real briefly, though, some things to look out for. So by the time that had set up, I actually had a trend there. And when I bring it over, you can see that we're pretty close to have touched it already. So this is pretty aggressive going long after a touch of the high side already. So when I got in, I took the scalp, and once I saw that it was reversing a little bit, I just exited. I wasn't ready to hold or do anything crazy with this particular trade. Also kind of getting a turnaround here, because it's kind of like a move down and a move up. We're not really getting the retests. So I'm looking at this kind of like congestion. So y'all got to see a little bit ahead, but we're going to go ahead and keep going. Now we're looking for a buy somewhere off this. We got the first entry. And that just never comes. This isn't a good, it's not a good signal bar. So that's not something we're interested in. But when we see this bar, I'm actually down to go short right there. That's a nice reversal pattern. And then here's a good point to make at this part of the chart is that since we've had a trend that didn't check up, and then we had another trend that didn't check up, once I got this line, I'm going to go ahead and make it a range just because prices aren't retesting after moves. So that's the sign that we're in some sort of congestion area. Let's do it like that. And for the lows, I'll just bring it somewhere down there. So that's kind of the range we're working for. We're going to look for a test of this area on the short. You get that, no problem. So now we're just waiting to see what else we can get. Since we're in a range and we haven't been getting checkups, we're going to be looking for longs, maybe a higher low. This is the higher low. Not a great signal bar though, so we're going to have to wait for that one. And then you got a breakout, failed second entry short, but because of this congestion, I'm not interested buying above these bars either. So I just have to wait it out again. Start to get a push. We're breaking previous swings. A lot of bars, a lot of green bars in a row. I'm going to go ahead and give it a micro trend. Now we're getting that breakout of the range. And sorry about the Windows thing. It keeps popping up. I think my computer is about to explode. But we get a breakout from this range area. And now we're getting the pullback. A little too early to go short. But let's see if we get a higher low or whatever happens. So we pull back. We get a signal bar there. That's a bull signal bar though. And it's just the first entry off these highs. There's a double bottom, so that's one high or one low. So we just need to wait, see if we get a second entry up here. Not quite. Now we broke those highs. Okay, making higher highs after the break. Still nothing yet that I would really be into, but you can kind of start to see that there's a spiking channel. And so I would have something like that for my channel. See how that's holding nicely. That's good. Holds nicely again. Here's a second entry long off this high. First entry, second entry. It's not great though because of this signal bar, but it's a double bottom and it's inside of our channel. So I'd be willing to take that risk right there. Takes a little bit and then it takes off for you. And then here you have the failed second entry, but you just touched this high side. There's not even enough room to exit before touching it again. We're gonna have to skip it. And it would have worked, but it's just one of those ones that you let go. Here you're gonna get that congestion, starting to get that stack up. So I would have my range lines there. I'm really gonna look for the breakout and maybe a test back into the range. Here's that breakout. Good signal bar. but it moved lower than the previous swing. It's just a first entry in the middle of a channel. We need to be a little more patient and wait and wait for a better signal. It might have worked if you enter on the limit. Yeah, if you entered on the limit, it works. But hey, that's the game. Who cares? And then here you get that higher low, but that's right into the highs. You don't want to be buying. You don't want to buy there at all. And then here you get the second entry long. That's a good buy. Off the trend channel. A lot of room to these highs up here. That's a good place to buy. That one works pretty well. Here's the higher low. Coming off this bottom side, I'm into it. It's a little bit stacking up, so I'm not in love with it. But since we're coming off this low side, we're still expecting to come test this. In fact, what helps me think about this trade in a more positive light is taking the measured move here, and then off this measured move, bringing it here. So up here is where my target is for prices. So I'm still expecting we get another push or so. So I'd go long there. That one does its thing, works up, and we get that measured move and off this channel right there. So we're working. This is the failed second entry, but we're right into this line. I'm not interested going long there. And that thing pulls back on you. Not the trade you want. Second entry, but the signal bar isn't good, so gotta wait that one out. And it would have worked, but it's just not a great setup. So we're over here at the tops, getting some stack up. Here's just the here's a higher low. First entry to the high, but we're coming right off these tops. We need a second entry, kind of like this one was a second entry. We need a second entry in order to go long. That one fails, and that gets us to 12 o'clock. It's pretty much 12 o'clock right there. So all in all, there were a couple really good trades. Nothing too confusing or sketchy. Yeah, big thing to look for is these two-legged moves and pullbacks to the trend line and EMA. But we're not going to drag this one out. There'll be more to talk about tomorrow. But until then, comment, email, DM. I will be here to do it again tomorrow. See y'all.